We're here in New York City, Caribbean Week 2017. It's a gloomy day outside, but we're here speaking about the Caribbean, and I'm speaking with the Honorable Clarice Modeste-Curwen. The Minister is the Minister of Tourism and Aviation for Grenada. Last we met, we were at the State of the Industry Conference in Barbados, and there were a lot of exciting things happening in Grenada. You had new airlift, and there were, if I recall, there were some properties in development or some conversations about new properties in development. Can you share with our audience um, how does it stay now for Grenada with that new airlift and new properties?
Yes. Yes. Last year in Barbados, when we had the State of the Industry meeting, there were a lot of exciting things happening for Grenada, and there still continue to be. So we had JetBlue had already started doing flights, and now we had about 5 per week. Now JetBlue is going to do daily flights, which is going to make a lot of difference because JetBlue has become almost like a household name in Grenada. So that, and then we have a number of hotels that are either in process of being built or plans are being made to start um, the erection of those hotels. So we have the Kawana Bay Resort that is under construction. Um, One that is much further advanced is the Silver Sands Hotel, and they are adding something about in excess of 100 rooms, and they are um, they are planned to start operations somewhere about March of 2018. Um, we have another one in the northern part of the island called Livera Hotel, and so it's while there's development in terms of tourism infrastructure in the city parts, we also have in other parts of the island, and that's good for us. So we expect to see a number of additional rooms to increase our room stock, and we have also had some arrangement with Canadian Air Canada rather, and Air Canada is now going to do year-round flights into Grenada. So that is really good for us. We're still suffering from inter-Caribbean transportation. That is an issue. We're working on it. We're working with LIAT. That is what we have, and we are about to conclude. Actually, we have concluded an arrangement, but we are about to see the implementation of that arrangement, and I hope things can be better um, in the next few months.
Do you care to just give us a view as to where those talks are going or where those talks went in terms of LIAT? I mean, as known across the Caribbean, if you look at the bottom of a ticket in LIAT, a huge percentage of that cost goes towards taxes.
Yes. Um, yes. In general, the discussions have been centered around how we can help LIAC offset their expenses. Um, the flights that we have been discussing are very lucrative flights. Uh, they do have a very good load factor, and the primary one is the morning flight between Grenada and Barbados that has been cut off. So our citizens and other persons visiting Grenada and wanting to travel between Grenada and Barbados have been negatively impacted by that. But also, it's one of the more profitable flights with LIAT. So I want to think that they would have had some negative effects of that decision as well. But we recognize that it is our Caribbean airline, and that we need to work together. So we have talked about how we can help financially, how we can help in terms of IT, the technology, to modernize it a bit to make it more effective and efficient, and one or two other smaller areas. But we have also implored upon them that they need to be more efficient in what they do in terms of providing airlift to persons needing it between Grenada and primarily Barbados.
Yeah, you mentioned Barbados. To what do you attribute those numbers being at those levels coming out of Barbados?
I'll tell you the primary factor in having larger numbers between Grenada and Barbados is the fact that Grenadians have to go to Barbados to get US visa. And so there's a significant number who have to do that. So they, like the early morning flight, they can go into Barbados, do the transactions with the embassy, and come back in the evening. And that is the primary um, group of persons who travel to Barbados. But also, you have connectivity with other major airlines, like whether it's British Airways, because British Airways doesn't travel every day between Grenada and London. So persons needing to travel outside of those regular days, they usually link up with British Airways or Virgin in Barbados as well.
But is there a target effort to attract visitors from Barbados? You mentioned that these numbers are up for the obvious reasons you just mentioned, but is there a target effort for intra-Caribbean travel as it relates to Grenada?
Now, traditionally, Grenada has benefited over the years from um, visitors coming from the Caribbean in large numbers. It has always been one of our primary targets and one of our primary source markets. So it has been there in competition with USA, for example, UK, the top countries that are our source markets. So we cherish that, not just because of the numbers, but because of the oneness of the Caribbean, and it's almost like home. So while we woo visitors from further afield, and we love to have them, we feel a strong bond, and we feel really happy to have Barbadians, Trinidadians, Vincentians, all over the place come to visit our country. So it is a burden to us that we cannot uh, interconnect island to island, but also that we cannot fraternize as brothers and sisters as we really are in our one Caribbean family.
What is the spend coming out of the rest of the Caribbean as it compares percentage-wise? Because we have to deal with percentages. Maybe compare it to the larger territories or the larger target regions, North America, Canada, etc. What is the percentage of spend coming into Grenada from the rest of the Caribbean?
While I cannot give you an exact figure off my head, but the spending from Caribbean visitors compares very favorably with other visitors from further afield. Um, they enjoy the local things that our people enjoy. They love things like our local national dish, which is oil down and so on. So while the other visitors do like it as well, but I find the Caribbean people come with an added passion to see what we have and something to take back with them as well. So it works very well for us in terms of the spending.
You asked a question today at the press conference. I guess that person anticipated that I was going to ask the same question. But what makes Grenada unique from the rest of the Caribbean?
Okay. As you're well aware, the demographics of today, they're looking for something a little bit different. And while we have been able to woo the traditional visitors with our wonderful Grandans Beach, we have some high-end hotels, we have some boutique hotels as well that have been given really high ratings from our visitors. We have other attractions that can attract persons with different tastes. So, for example, our chocolate, I've mentioned our spices, and our spicy food is well loved by all visitors. But we do have some eco adventures, our high wire walks and things like that. The trails, we do mountain climbing now, or dives. As a matter of fact, Grenada is known as one of the best dives in the region, and perhaps even further afield. And we have increased more of the underwater attractions. We have more ships, underwater ships, intact that divers love. But besides that, we have our underwater sculptures that have been there for a while but are still loved. and whatever underwater life that we have managed to preserve in our country with great passion. So all of these things, and very importantly, our people. I don't know if you've been to Grenada, but people will tell you that our people, the friendliness and the caring is unique. And people love that. Our people, they're very friendly and warm and welcoming. And we think that is one of the things that bring people back to Grenada.
It's the last day of this conference in New York City, Caribbean Week 2017. When you go back, what would you say that you've accomplished?
Um, One of the undeniable advantages of coming to such a meeting is the making the connections um, with all types of partners. First of all, my colleague ministers sharing experiences, and also the reassurance that there's support within CTO um, for all of the member states, but also meeting other partners or travel agents, persons involved in marketing, and everybody's vying to get a little piece of the Caribbean, and by implication, Grenada, meeting people like you who can share our thoughts, our feelings with other persons who are interested, where through your medium. So it is a great opportunity, but it's been a learning experience. Some of the presentations that I've heard are some of the best that I've heard since coming into tourism. There's a lot of ideas. There are a lot of ideas and information that I can take back. I have scribbled on quite a bit of notes. Some of the things we're already doing that I want to say, look, we're doing it well. Let's do it even better. But there are other things that I think we can do, and especially I'm looking forward to that meeting in November in Jamaica. The whole issue of sustainable tourism, because that is the crux of the matter. If we do not exercise what we do in the industry in a sustainable way, then we would not have much to leave for generations behind. And what we are using now will no longer be valuable if we do not use it in such a way that we preserve it. And that's one of the things that we have done in Grenada. We have kept a lot of our naturalness, our natural beauty, a lot of our activities to suit the millennials. Thank God they are activities that you can do in the natural. People can mix easily with people, taste our foods, do river tubing without taking away the river. So it's a win-win situation, and I'm really happy that I came to this meeting because I think that I had a lot to share and a lot to learn.
Lots of success, Minister, for yourself and the Spice Island of Grenada and indeed the Caribbean. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Same here. It's a pleasure.